All right, guys, and we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and focus on AmpliTube for the rest here. So I just wanted to say sorry there. Having some internet connection issues over here. Absolutely nothing to do with my audio. But all right, so let's go ahead and we're going to take another look over here. And let's see where we left off. We have an overscream. And we have a noise gate. The noise gate from hell. The noise gate from hell is what we're going to use to just kind of push our signal into it. Okay, so once you're pushing into your signal here, we're going into our cab. Now what I want to do is supplement my tone a little bit more, and I am just going to go ahead and grab a second mic, right? I want to boost my signal just a little bit. I want to add some high end that I'm kind of missing out here. At least I can feel on my end. If you're listening on headphones or something like that, grab some speakers. Or if you're on an iPhone or something like that, you want to jump onto some speakers when you're checking this out. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look here. We're going to go to our ribbon connector. We're going to go to our ribbon microphones, and we're going to go to the 160. Now it's going to add some high end, and I'm going to put him right in the center. Now, if you notice, you can change a lot of things in AmpliTube, and if you're not quite feeling your tone, before you mess with any EQ settings or before you go crazy, you can go ahead and change your cab or your speakers here. This is going to give you a lot of different tone variation that you might not realize you can really get. So you have your mic here. Let's go ahead and let's hear what that sounds like. I'm just going to add it up a little bit. Now remember, I took out all my room tone, and I'm going to have to back this guy off a little bit. So let's go down 3 dB. Okay, cool. So, awesome. So let's go ahead and crank that guy up. Let's hear it first. Cool, right? So from here, you can go ahead and take the mic up, and let's hear what that sounds like. Now it's way too much for me. You know, there's just too much going on. I'm actually going to take these guys all the way back down. And let's just put him back to 3, and let's take him all the way down. Now, forgive the volume drop, but let's just hear it without it. Now let's crank it up just a little bit more so we can hear what it's doing. There you can hear it just a little bit. Now let's mute him real quick just so we can hear it all together. Awesome. So you can hear just the 57 on its own sounds great. I don't even really need to supplement him there too much. I'm actually going to take him down so you can barely hear him. But I know he's there, and on the speakers when I'm mixing later, I'm really going to hear that. You might not be hearing that too much on headphones or on an iPhone speaker. Now, let's continue moving on here. So we're going to stick onto our rack next, and for the sake of this awesome question, thank you, Ajax Rodriguez. Tube compressor. That's where I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it at the end of my chain. I'm probably going to keep my ratio really low. I'm not even going to mess with these guys. Maybe I'm going to put my attack all the way super fast to get a super chug, like a super snappy chug. Or if I want a laid back, really beefy chug, I might back him up to around here. Let's hear the differences. Let's see what this sounds like, and I'll try a couple of different ones. See, that's already adding a little bit too much for me, and you can hear it's bringing this guy out a lot. So let's actually take him off for a second. Put him back up to 0, just so we only hear what this compressor's doing. I don't want too much drive. Let's see. Right, let's try it one more time. Let's try it on my other pickup here. That was on my bridge. Let's try it with the neck. So it's not really doing too much. It's really just compressing my signal overall and giving me a little bit extra. I don't want to actually push my signal. I don't want my output to change. So let's go ahead and play a chord. It actually almost brings it down a little bit. Great, awesome. So you can hear the tube compressor a little bit there. Now, before I even compress it, if you do have a bass player, you might want to do this step. Sometimes things can get muddy if you don't. I like to cut out anything that I'm not really hearing or I don't want to hear from my guitar. I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily hear much under 100 hertz from a guitar that I particularly love to hear, unless, of course, there's no bass player. Then you can experiment and find some really cool sounds. But let's hear what that sounds like. I just cut out some frequencies. Now, I don't want to completely cut it off right there. Let's add a little bit. Now, a lot of you might be like, wow, that actually thinned it out a lot. In a mix, it really does help kind of fit things together, especially if you're going to have multiple guitars, left, right, center, lead guitars, and stuff like that. Now I'm going to add additional byte, and I like 4K for my byte, just a nice little 3 dB. Now that's really cool for lead riffs. If you have a lead riff, I like to push it on 4K. Sometimes it can bite a little bit too hard, and you don't really want to do that. You might need to find something around 4K that you're actually going to cut for some sounds, but let's hear that. Now let's hear it one more time without the EQ at all. Cool, so you can hear exactly what that's doing there. Now, I have all of this set up, and if you don't want to mess with presets too much, what I like to do is save these as pedal board setups. So this is more of a tech tip than anything, but I'm going to save this guy as just my metal starter. Right? Because that's what I'm going to use when I start any kind of metal track, really. I might also do the same thing here. I'm just going to put the metal starter rack, which is really cool. That you can now, if I switch to another preset and I want to pull this thing back up, I can do that really easily. So now let's go ahead and we're going to check out some other amps. It is 4:30, so I'm going to just poke around with some other stuff. We're going to give away AmpliTube MESA Boogie. Thank you guys for sticking through the technical difficulties today with the internet connection issues. So we're going to be giving AmpliTube MESA Boogie away for the answer to the following question. Make sure you add your IK username at the very end of the answer to your question, and that's how you're going to get your serial. So let's go ahead and let's go over this. So the question is, what is your favorite amplifier inside the MESA Boogie collection? If you don't know what's in it, go ahead and look it up right now. It'll actually probably benefit you in the long run because you could probably win it today. Now, I see a pretty good question. Is there a transient shaper in AmpliTube? Oh, transition shaper. Maybe you meant transient shaper. No, there is not, but that's essentially what you're trying to do with your compressor here. There is some other stuff inside here. Let's go ahead and we'll go through it. You have your parametric EQ, which is really cool for dialing in some stuff. You're going to see a lot of graphic EQs and parametric EQs in the dime bag presets, which is awesome. It's a real sculptor of tone, especially to get the sound of what they got out of the studio. You also have these awesome stomp effects, and somebody asked about the compressor earlier. You do have it right here. So if I wanted to replace this guy, you know, say I don't like the tube compressor sound, I can still have a compressor. Go ahead and shoot your answer in. Make sure you give us your IK username. That's going to be your entry to win. If we don't have that, we can't give you the software today. And thank you guys again for sticking through us. So I'm going to go ahead and play some more stuff. Let me know. I'm going to go through the MESA stuff just so we have it, and you can hear what you're about to win. So let me try that compressor real fast, and then we'll switch to the MESA. Ooh, okay, cool. I like that. I actually like that better than this guy. Let's compare. Yeah, it hits a little bit harder, but that's cool. I like that. The edit button, you can see you pull up the stop. So we have our amp A. Let's go ahead. We're gonna go to the MESA stuff, and you do see the Mark III. I see Joe Brown. Great answer. Beat Bazaar, Mark III, favorite one. Ooh, Finbo, Jose, Carvin V3. See, that's one I don't think gets too much love. But let's just go through these sounds and see what it sounds like without messing with anything. It might be a tad bit loud because it is a MESA. Let's just crank him up as needed. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, so you can see the dual rectifier I dialed in really quick. Maybe around 6 on the gain. You don't need to go crazy. Don't go to 9 and 10, because when you do, in recording, it will start muddying everything up. You're going to start messing with your tone a little bit too much. You're going to be adding too many harmonics. So that's channel 3. You have three different versions of that channel, which is an awesome raw sound. You got the vintage, and you got the modern. It's a little bit more beefy. Modern hits a little bit harder for me. Vintage is a nice sound for, especially if you're going for a lead kind of sound that's just barely breaking up. I don't really mess around with the different channels because you can get so much out of just one, and I don't use a MIDI controller that often. You do have the back here, and let's switch our tubes. You heard that little pop. I like the 6L6s, so I'm going to keep those. Let's try switching to vacuum tubes from the silicone diodes. I like the silicone diodes a little bit better. Let's try spongy on it. That's a good one. I really like the difference there. Now, spongy might be really cool if you're doing a rhythm, or if you're going for something that you might need to keep a little bit dialed back. But let's go ahead and let's hear the difference between the triple rectifier with the same settings. It's going to be very similar now because it's in the box. So you can see the default's tuned a little bit differently, but I'm going to put it to where it was essentially when I did that other amp at the very beginning of the video. So you're not hearing too much variation. We're kind of just messing around with what we have. Right? Okay. Sorry. I heard somebody say chug more. Ha. Sorry about that. I'm trying to give a little bit of an example that I could still move around my hand a bit. Otherwise, I'd get sucked in a little bit too far. So if you're not familiar with the MESA Boogie collection, there is the Mark III, Mark IV, which are awesome, great sounding amps. And then there's also the Transatlantic TA30, which is cool for crunch sound and actually could push really hard. So let's check out Mark III. So keep these answers coming in here. I want to hear what is your favorite amplifier in the AmpliTube MESA Boogie collection. Your answer will be your entry into the giveaway, right? So once we have your username and your entry, you have entered to win. If you don't win today, make sure to like and subscribe to the video, and you can enter to win any other week. We do this every week, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. And also, I did want to let you guys know the AmpliTube Max promotion. Max is down to $99. It ends today, so make sure if you guys do want a bunch of different gear and you're not just looking for the MESA, definitely recommended. Check that out. Ooh, so that hits really hard right away, and I don't particularly love that right now. So let's see what I can do. Let's turn our drive down. Remember, I was saying I don't really want too much drive. All right, that's kind of cool. Super reverby. Where is that coming from? Okay, I see only one mic. Let's go to the back. Oh, there he is. There's my reverb. Much better. I don't particularly love reverb on the front or on the amp. Now, I'm going to let you guys get some more answers in here. We're going to announce the winner at 4:45, and then we're going to end the stream today. But thank you guys all for participating. So give us the answer to your question, which is going to be, what is your favorite AmpliTube MESA Boogie model from the collection, and give us your IK username at the very end. This one we're messing around with is the Mark III. Let's check out the slightly more insane version that I love, the Mark IV. Let's grab our reverb all the way down. Now you can see there's a lot of cool stuff on the back of these amps, and it's really, if you're not listening on speakers, go back and demo this yourself on speakers, or listen to this again over and over. It's something that you're really going to want to hear. You see you have a fat control. These are all subtle controls almost at sometimes. Let's try this out. Oh man, that hits. All right, so that sounds, the Mark IV sounds insane. I didn't even do too much to it. I can't really knock that out. Now, there's a lot of different stuff that you can do on these things. I do like the EQ. Usually I'll turn that kind of stuff off, but let's hear it without it. And if this audio demo changed your answer, please let us know. I want to hear. If you've never heard these amps, and you might have thought you liked the dual better than the triple, or you thought you liked the 3 or the 4, and you maybe not have messed around with these guys too much, definitely worth a try. I'm going to skip the Transatlantic because it's more for crunch, and I don't really use it for metal. But we're going to escape the MESA Boogie collection for just 5 more minutes, and then we're going to answer this giveaway. Now, the MESAs, they're really great, and one thing I really like to do is sometimes I'll mix the MESA cabs in with what I'm doing. So let's say I wanted to grab my Thunderverb, which is a slightly heavier amp, not that heavy because it is an orange, and it's some people are talking, thinking, man, what is this guy talking about? Orange are heavy. They are very heavy amps, but I really like to push them through a MESA because they just sound awesome. I've had a lot of people in bands throughout my life use this combination, I really love the sound. Let's give that a shot. Almost no gain just yet. Let's go ahead. Like immediate butter. Right now, sorry, I'm trying to play the same riffs over and over so you guys can get an idea of what it sounds like versus, you know, when I'm playing. Now you can hear I am cranking it a little bit harder on this amp because it's not one of those amps that was designed for the most insane sound. Of course, the Thunderverb is a crazy amp, but I did have to crank the gain up to 8 to get to where I was on 6 on some of the other amps. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I heard somebody say stereo. Let's go over stereo real quick before we wrap up. And of course, make sure you guys demo all the different combinations of amplifiers, mics. One really good mic that I love is this guy, the Vintage 20, if you want a thinner sound. And there's a couple of different things too. So let's go ahead and check this out. So you have 2 and you have 6. They're 2 different routings that only vary because of that ending, right? But I want it to go straight across. I don't want to share my rack effects between my rig. Maybe you do. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to use 2. And 2 and 6 are our stereo. The rest are going to be mono, but you can see that is the chain and that is where they're going. And this makes it so you only need 1 plug-in for a stereo rig. So let's grab this guy. We already saved him as our metal starter pack. So how easy is that? Crazy, right? Now let's say I wanted to layer this exact same amplifier. Let's go ahead and select our orange Thunderverb. You just saw me copy that by right-clicking. And now I'm going to paste it. So now I have the exact same settings on my left and my right. And let's go to our inserts, nothing there. If you are a solo shreddy guy in the insert, you can add the phasers. There's quite a few phasers that are in here that really sound really cool. That's really great for guys who like to solo. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's knock this guy back down. Now, instead of having 2 mics on one cab, I'm going to use 2 mics, but on different cabs. And I'm actually going to have the orange cab for this one because it's going to add some variation in my sound. So let's go ahead and we're going to use, this is actually going to be my ribbon. So let's go ahead and use my 160. Ooh, sorry about that. Oh, but awesome. So you see that right there, immediate reaction. Let's turn this thing off because I don't want anybody confused later. I am only using 1 mic per cab because why do you need 4 mics? I'm not quite sure. But one day I will probably need it and I will have it to reach for. But let's go ahead and you'd see my pan here. Let's pan him out 100%, even though I'm normally a 45 kind of guy. So actually, let's not pan him here. Let's pan him in the rack section. You could see my compressor is on for 1 track. All right, and he's not on for the other one. But let's use my preset because I saved him. All right, that's easy. You saw that right there, load rack setup, and I had my preset that I made earlier. If you missed that, I'm gonna repost the video so you guys have a nice edited version of this. Sorry about the audio quality earlier, but yeah, let's go ahead and we're gonna check this out. So you have your cab with your 160, you have your 57 right there. Ooh, and it's time for our winner. No preset needed, right? Stereo sounds huge. So yeah, give that a shot later. And if you notice, the only difference between my left and my right really was my mic and my cab, you know, because I wanted to match the higher frequency mic that I like to use that complements my high end because it doesn't break up the wrong way. It's a ribbon microphone. They're known for that. And then I have my just traditional 57. I love that tone. I know it. I can depend on it. Right, I have nothing else on here. No room, no DI. Nothing crazy. just a little bit of compression, sucking out a little bit of the lows on the end. But you could do this all in your mixer if you wanted to inside your DAW, but you don't need to. It's all in AmpliTube. Same exact rack. Oh, this guy actually cranked a little bit. There we go. Now we're nice and silent. Knew there was something going on. Another thing that I noticed they did in the dime presets, and let's announce our winner here, and then I'll go over this little tip. We'll wrap up. Our winner is Jose. Jose Hinstraza. That is going to be Jose 25H. Your answer was the dual rectifier, and thank you for that answer. That's one of my favorite amps. That is actually one of the amplifiers that I've kind of longed to be able to use in my apartment. But sadly, I cannot. So I resort to AmpliTube, and I got a pretty decent tone at doing it. And once you do it for enough time, you're really going to start to love it and mess around with it. So definitely check it out. You should have the serial added later today. You just won yourself some AmpliTube MESA Boogie. Hell yeah. Download the IK Product Manager now, and you can grab yourself that download once it's available. So let's just go ahead. I want to check out that stomp that I was mentioning earlier. Let's get to wrap up and get out of here. Remember, guys, like and subscribe. I'm going to repost this video later so you guys can rewatch and get the whole thing going on. I really wanted this to be a lesson for you guys who look for presets and really try to come up with a sound to start with. This is going to give you the entrance in to start your sound. You know, you don't need to search for presets. Sometimes presets are great, but I like to avoid them at all costs unless I really need like I don't know where to go. You know, that's the time where I like to use them, is when I don't know where to go. So let's go ahead and we're going to check out exactly what the dime preset did, which is kind of cool. Is the delay is just all the way down. We're on the doubler version, no width, no speed on the LFO, no feedback. Let's hear what that sounds like. Here one more time. Now remember, the best way is always to just simply double track. But if you're playing live, this is a great way to do it. Go through the presets for the dime bag collection for examples of that. It's also really great examples of the racks. But once you know what you're doing with all this gear, you can make a preset immediately without having to dig through anything. You know what you want. You know, what I like to do is ask the guitar player, what's your amp? Give me the gear that you use live. We'll put it in AmpliTube. It'll sound exactly like what it sounds like live without messing with it. You know, you don't really need to go crazy. But thank you guys again for tuning in. This video will be on again in a much nicer format. And thank you guys all for sticking through all the technical issues today. Congratulations again, Jose. You know, enjoy your new dual rectifier that you can blast at home through your headphones, through your speakers, through whatever. It's going to sound great. It's going to make your mixes sound really polished and professional. You don't need a huge studio to use this kind of stuff, and that's the thing. This room right here is probably more important than the whole amp, because if you had an amazing MESA and you didn't have an amazing recording space, how could you really get the sound that you would have out of AmpliTube? That's what AmpliTube gives you, that benefit. So thank you guys all for watching. Definitely, Jack Fisher, thank you for tuning in. Sorry about going over some of the dime bag stuff. I wanted to give you guys examples because I use this stuff and I mix it all together, and that's the best part about AmpliTube, is that you don't need to use the dime bag stuff for a dime bag sound. You don't need to use the MESA stuff for a super heavy rock sound. Some guys use it for reggae, the dual rectifier. It's crazy. Experiment, find what tone works for you, and this should help you start without using any presets. Today we used the Thunder Verb. We used all the stuff in the MESA collection except for the really awesome Transatlantic, which you guys should check out. It's a great little crunch amp. But thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure to like and subscribe so you get tuned into, so you get alerted of the next video. And if you guys didn't win, make sure to take a look at the link in the description for our promotions. We have a bunch of really cool stuff. The VI group buy is buy one, get 3 free. It's really close to buy one, get 4 free. AmpliTube Max, the last day for it's down to $99. We also were giving away a free clipper, which is really cool for you guys who like to mix and master, or even add this to your guitar tone. It adds a little bit of grit. Put it on your guitar bus instead of your guitar tracks, and it's really awesome. And then there's also a 75% off crazy deal that ends on the 9th. So all this stuff ends soon. Check out the link in the description, and thank you guys again for tuning in. As always, we'll see you guys again next week.